TV. This is our Premier League pizza roundup. We're in the lovely Quartieri, which is on Kilburn High Road, and look at all this lovely food we have as usual. Today we're going to talk about West Ham's misery, Tottenham's misery, but most importantly, our happiness. Chelsea won again. Should we start off with our own team?
Yeah, we start with Chelsea. We start with Chelsea because it was a really good result. I think that result against Bournemouth shouldn't be underestimated. I think we did really well. We've won 4 on the spin, which isn't easy to do. And I think it's very, very interesting when we're playing a team that are resolute. You know, they've started the season very well, Bournemouth, and they were hard to break down. They offered quite a lot, but we did enough, and we kept going. We persevered. We made brilliant substitutions, and we got the 3 points. And crucially, we kept a clean sheet. Do you know how happy I am about that?
Which is wild. I sit in the Shed Upper, and in the Shed Upper, I mean, I know you've got a lot of season ticket holders in the Matthew Harding, but Shed Upper's normally all the same people, more or less. Yeah. And so I think they get a little bit more frustrated when we're just not making, you know, instant goals. But I sort of have to say the first half, we were all a little bit like, oh, here we go again. Alonso hit the post. And you know, the ball got into the box so many times and we just weren't able to convert it into a goal. But eventually, perseverance and everything like that, we came out, and I was thrilled with that. I think I tipped us to have a draw, and I know a lot of you fans got really mad at me for that, but it was only really because I just thought Bournemouth had started the season very well. They started the season better than any of our other opponents that we'd faced beforehand. Yeah. So I was a little bit worried, but to get the win and a clean sheet, I think. And
David Luiz started. So we did a video last week. Who should start? Lots of people, in fact, you massively won the debate. Totally. Everybody agreed that you'd won it. I think you probably won 80% of that vote. Yeah. Sarri, though, agreed with me.
He did, yeah. But I think a lot of fans afterwards were saying he was a little bit shaky here and there. But again, I don't want to really focus on the negatives. I think Sarri made some. I love Sarri's substitutions.
Yeah, got it spot on.
Do you know what he does? And he acts very quickly. He acts when I'm thinking, okay, maybe we should bring somebody else on now. Yeah. And the minute Pedro come on for me, changed the game. Is literally like lightning, like, you know, fresh legs, whatever else. But I just thought he took a shot at goal and it worked out. And I think we're very lucky to have him at the club, really.
What do you think Pedro's celebration was all about?
I have no idea, but I thought it was really good. I loved the little picture they got on the club's Instagram.
Do you think he was saying that he should be starting? I think if he was saying that, he has a point.
He does have a point. I mean, for me, I don't necessarily think the game would have been the same if he had started. I don't think it necessarily means that we would have resulted in a win or whatever. I think Sarri knows when to bring on somebody, and sometimes Pedro, for me, acts better coming on towards the end of the game because he is so fast. He's got all that energy, and to bring him on at that time when the other team are already quite knackered out and tired, I think actually kills the game off. So I would.
Yeah, that's an interesting.
To me, I prefer it a little bit. Not for every game. But I just think that there's certain games where players perform.
That's really interesting, so because for me, I think Pedro should start. I think that he has spent his life playing this Sarri system. You know, he's a man who was schooled in the great way to play football.
Charlie said.
and will be really good at it. So I think having somebody like Pedro starting isn't necessarily a bad thing. Looking good.
On me.
And I think he's done so well when he's come on. So do you think that Pedro should be starting? You know, when we come back off the international break, would you like to see Pedro starting, or do you think that he can do a good job as an impact substitute? I think both answers are correct, but for me, I think I'd like him to start.
Both answers are correct. I mean, we've got a lot of midfield options, and tomorrow you will see me and Charlie did a video on Ruben Loftus-Cheek, so that'll be out, and you can sort of see what I'm saying about. I basically
discussing whether Loftus-Cheek should be starting.
Yeah, that's tomorrow's video, but it's also the fact that we have a lot of options in the midfield, and it's knowing when to bring them on at the right time. So. Yeah. I think that's sort of the moral of the story there. But yeah, I thought it was a great win overall. Brilliant. And considering some of our other rivals, let's get this out of the way. Because we're going to like...
What should we do? Let's talk Tottenham.
I was with Charlie yesterday and I said, let's go watch football. He said, no, I will not watch if Tottenham go 1-0 up. I will not watch it. I was okay, so we ended up going for some food because he definitely didn't want to watch them, and then we ended up watching the last half at my house. And I mean, that's a very bad result.
Skillen's quite smooth, isn't it? I didn't realise he was around your house. You didn't tell me that.
No, I was shooting his own new place, not in that way, in a nice way. But yeah, Tottenham seemed to fail at the last hurdle, really, didn't they? It's quite funny.
I know. It's brilliant. And what a start for Watford.
What a start for Watford. I think they're a good team, you know. I think they've done, ever since they've come to the Premier League, I think they've done really well. I think they've got some great players. Troy Deeney is one of my favourite players, actually.
Deeney's great. I think it's Etienne Capoue. I think he was very lucky to play in that game because he should have been sent off the previous week. But I thought he was excellent. In fact, their midfield, Decora as well. I think that they are a really good midfield pairing.
They've got a very good team.
Isn't going to be easy to go to this year.
But do you know what's weird though for me is about Tottenham, and this is why they failed to win Premier League titles, is because they can win against United one week and lose to Watford the next.
Isn't it? Yeah.
So they don't really have any consistency, as well as actually, to be fair, you know, the main teams we worry about in this season will be the likes of Man City and Liverpool. You know, the top dogs. We should be going to Vicarage Road, although they are a very good team, and getting 3 points out of that. And I think actually we have the mentality to do that. I don't think Tottenham have the mentality to keep that going.
Were you surprised with Tottenham's result?
I was surprised actually, yeah. I thought they'd at least scrounge a draw through that. But again, I think we're going to start to see throughout the season, although they started half decently, got the win against United, how not making any signings in the summer does affect you long term.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think we won't see, it's starting to come into effect, and I think as the season goes on, we'll see that. Next up then, let's discuss the Cardiff Arsenal game. Pros of Arsenal would be they are now getting results out of games where they're not performing very well, and Unai Emery obviously has some sort of system where it's just coming together at the end, and I think Arsenal fans are going to be happy with that, because I think that's maybe a game last season they wouldn't have won.
I'm not sure.
You're not sure?
I'm not sure.
Oh, go on then, why not?
Cardiff hadn't scored a goal all season. They could not score a goal. They couldn't buy a goal. I watched their game against Newcastle. They were abysmal going forward, and I just cannot see where they're going to get a goal from. Scored 2 against Arsenal.
Completely agree, but I do think Cardiff are in trouble. Don't want to be too harsh, it is the start of the season, but
they're massively in trouble. Couldn't happen to a nicer bloke in Warnock either, could it?
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. But you know, you're scoring 2 goals, and I think they're a fantastic championship side, Cardiff City, and I think if they go down, they'll be right back up the top again. But again, it is very early, but I just think if this continues on until December, they're going to need to make some half decent. They're going to have to make a couple of signings and just try and fix it, because otherwise they're going to be.
I can't see it so. But I think if Cardiff were to sign Lionel Messi, I think they'd still go down. They still go down. There is no saving Cardiff. I just don't think that they have what it takes to survive this Premier League. They're such an average side, and I think they have a very average manager. It's going to take some doing, but I mean, it could happen. But for me, Cardiff are gone, and I think Arsenal should be very happy with that result, because it wasn't ideal. But 3 points away at Ninian Park, whatever it's called now, is a result they'll be happy with, and they've started to build Arsenal. We're starting to see a bit of momentum. That's 2 wins on the spin. They beat West Ham last week in a London derby. Nobody could quite predict how that one was going to go.
But though, they did go 1 goal down, and I would say, actually, to be fair, the teams that have had the worst starts for me would be West Ham, Cardiff and Huddersfield. And
well, yeah, the bottom 3.
Yeah, but I mean, just in terms of just play, like they haven't even played well.
Yeah.
West Ham are in so much trouble. I don't think that means that Arsenal are starting to get results. I think they're getting results against.
No, but two wins on the spin in the Premier League is noteworthy. You've got to think, Arsenal started their season against Manchester City, then they came to Stamford Bridge. They lost those 2 games, and people were questioning them, questioning the manager, and questioning the signings.
They haven't kept a clean sheet though. Yeah.
All of a sudden, you discount going to Stamford Bridge, you discount playing the champions at home, and they're doing what they should be doing. They're picking up results, they're scoring goals, their centre forwards firing again. And I think that all of a sudden, the complexion of the Premier League and the complexion of Arsenal Football Club within the Premier League looks very different to how it looked a fortnight ago. I think Arsenal now need to be taken very seriously.
But I do think keeping clean sheets is important. That's something that's impressed me the most so far about Chelsea. So next up is United, 2-0 against Burnley. Lukaku scored both.
He did. He scored both, and it couldn't have come at a better time. It's a massive performance from Romelu Lukaku there, just when his team needed it most. It really did feel like back to against the wall for Manchester United. Mourinho felt like he had a real moment in the week, and people were asking serious questions about Mourinho and about Manchester United and about the board there. You know, Woodward's been getting a lot of stick as well. They went to Burnley, and people saw it as a banana skin. You know, Burnley haven't had a good start to the season at all. They've dropped out of the Europa League as well, but it did look like a potential banana skin. And the fact that they went there and won very convincingly, the only kind of fly in the ointment would be the fact that Marcus Rashford was sent off. So that's not ideal for them at all, because I think he could have a very big season. But to go to Turf Moor, it's never easy. Regardless of form, it's never easy. And to go there under the storm that Manchester United were in, I think it's a very, very impressive result. And Romelu Lukaku has now scored as many Premier League goals as Didier Drogba.
Which is wild, isn't it?
Well, I mean, they're incomparable footballers for me. I mean, it's crazy to have that conversation, but can't argue with the stats. But the only thing I would say is, I'm going to disagree with my own statement. You can argue with the facts, because if you look where Didier Drogba scored his goals, all of a sudden it looks very different. You know, Didier Drogba was a massive game player, goals in cup finals, goals in Champions League, and Lukaku is yet to do that.
Yeah, true. I mean, in terms of United,
twice African Footballer of the Year.
Yeah. I agree with all that. I would say United, they're not gonna have this catastrophic season like everyone seems to be going on. They're not gonna.
Where do you think they'll finish?
I think they're going to get 6th.
That is catastrophic.
No, I mean as in when we finished 10th at 1 year. I'm not saying that. I'm saying they're not going to finish outside the top 4. But everyone's going on about Mourinho like he's completely lost it and they're going to be bottom half of the table. It's not going to happen.
Mate, they're going to finish 6th. He'll be sacked before they finish 6th.
Yeah, but I'm not.
Is that where you think they'll finish this year? Yeah.
I mean, I think it's between. For me, Man United, Arsenal and Tottenham are all very unreliable teams at the moment. Mm-hmm. Not that Tottenham are anyway, and we always expect Arsenal to not perform well, but somehow they do sometimes scramble their way into the top 4. But United, I would say this is their in terms of just the club, not in terms of their results even, just they're in a little bit of limbo, aren't they? So you don't really know what's going to happen there. If United can get it together, then of course, but I just think there's only 4 spaces and those 3 teams are going to have to battle it out for that last 4 spot. Okay, next up is Liverpool, their keeper. The keeper that we were so badly wanted to sign, the keeper that I had to go on Sky Sports News and say, we didn't want him in the end, even though apparently, compared to the person I was having a little bit of an argument with, said he's much more experienced, got Champions League, blah, 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 blah. Made a very bad mistake, Raw.
He made a huge mistake, but he's still a fantastic keeper, and I think what he achieved with Roma last year was very, very impressive. I don't think this mistake is...
That was always going to be a tough game for them, though, I think.
Yeah, it's always a tough game, but Liverpool won't care how it happened. They are also 100% record, like we are, and they're topped by a goal. They've got 1 goal better goal difference than we have, so they will be buoyant. They'll be over the moon, and I think it's very, very impressive that they've started winning games when they haven't played particularly well. Mm-hmm. But I was watching that game. Actually, weirdly, I watched that Liverpool game with Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank.
Which is amazing.
It's amazing.
What's he like?
Oh, it was great. Yeah, no, I had a really great day on Saturday. I ended up going to Sky, watching the game with Jimmy, and he was talking about that Liverpool team, and saying that he thinks that they could be ready this year. This could be it. Them. And I think that Liverpool now, the fact that they went to that game, they gave away a silly goal, Salah missed the sitter, and they still got the result, is something that we should really take seriously.
I tipped Liverpool to win the league this year. Because I think they are. I mean, the game they won against Brighton. They've now won against Leicester. They've scrambled up games where actually the teams have played very, very well, and they just managed to scrape through. As well as I think if City have lost to Wolves already this early, although we know Wolves have got a lot of investment and whatever else.
They dropped points to Wolves.
It's very, very early to tell. It's very, we're just only making assumptions up. But I think if they're doing that, if City were going to win the league this season, I would have expected them to have a 100% record like Liverpool so far.
Okay. Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think. I still think City are going to win the league. To be honest, I still think City are going to be brilliant. I watched their game on the opening day against Arsenal, and the way that Bernardo Silva was playing, it was a joy to watch. I then watched Sergio Aguero single-handedly destroy Huddersfield.
But I've tipped Liverpool to be top of the Premier League because I think they can get a result out of their game against City, as well as I think maybe
I agree with that. No, Sophie, I think you're completely correct. I think that when Liverpool play Manchester City, Liverpool seem to have something over them.
Yeah.
In the way that we had it with Tottenham for years, and when I was a kid, Arsenal had it with us for years. There was a time when I'd go to Stamford Bridge, Chelsea played brilliantly against Arsenal, and Nigel Winterburn would score a winner in the last minute. Kanu would score from the corner flag. Silvino, their left back, would score pretty much from the halfway line, a rocket. No matter what we did, they were just too good for us, and that does seem to be the case when Liverpool and City face off. Mm-hmm. However, I don't think it's relevant. I think that City will have a better record against everyone else, and they'll have more than a 3-point or 6-point cushion. So I still think that City are the team to beat for the league for me. Still, no matter nothing I've seen since suggests otherwise. Remember as well, when City dropped points to Wolves, They were very unlucky. It's a handball.
Well, I think Liverpool. He thinks City. Comment below who do you think will win the
I
league.
actually think-
They may even say Chelsea. A lot of the fan counts are
I
saying
think Chelsea. I think that we can win the league. I think absolutely we can win the league. And I think if you're a City fan or a Liverpool fan, you're worried about Chelsea now. You're looking at Chelsea going, hold up. Hold up.
Yeah.
They're good. And also the other thing is, we have the best midfield in the world. If you've got the best midfield in the world, games generally are won on the battle of midfield. If you win the midfield battle, it's very rare that you win the midfield battle but lose the game. So we're going to win the majority of midfield battles that we face.
Yeah.
And with that in mind, if we can use that as a foundation to build and launch a campaign for the Premier League, I'm believing. I'm starting to believe.
All right, then comment below. Do you think we can win the league? So there you have it. There is our Premier League pizza roundup. Me and Rory are going to start digging into our dessert in a minute.
Can't wait.
As soon as the cameras are off. Comment below who has impressed you so far this season. Who do you think will finish top? Do you think it'll be City? Do you think it'll be
Chelsea.
Do you really think that? Are you really?
I'm nearly there. I'm nearly believing. I'm very close.
Yeah, because fans are. Okay, comment below, and if you like this segment, please just give the video a thumbs up so that we can keep on doing it. And of course, click the subscribe button.